I'll tell you right now, there ain't going to be any surprises at the end of this video. This is a piece of punky root driftwood piece that I found on the beach a couple weeks ago. It's I carved it live, so you might see carving live. Yeah, it's a old negative space decaying wood spirit. I like how it turned out. Like I said, the wood's very punky, which means it's rotten. There is some hard spots, like the face was kind of hard, but the lighter wood there, that's super punky and super soft, so meaning it's basically like carving through a super soft foam. When I did the live video, I talked to people because this would not be a good wall hanger, because you can see that edge there, right here where I'm focusing on, and this piece, the face would be off to the side if you hung it on the wall, even more so. So what I did, I talked to a few people. I got this ready rod and I epoxied it in there. I thought about using a wood dowel and stuff like that, but the wood dowel would not, it would work, but I had the ready rod and I wasn't able to screw it in to the wood because the wood was all punky. So that means that screw would not take, it would just strip the wood, right? And so what I did is I epoxied it in there, right? Using this epoxy here. This is it's like UV resin. Okay. Here's a tube of it. What I did first, though, because the wood was so soft, is I got some of this CA glue and the thin stuff. I just poured it in there first to make the wood hard. Then I poured the epoxy in there, put the ready rod in there, and you hit it with this light and it cures super fast. So I did it like 5 different times because you don't want to pour it on too thick because it might not cure properly, right? So it's got like 5 layers of the epoxy on here, and this rod's not going anywhere. It holds it really good. So my point of this ready rod is I got this big old burl. It's a root burl, so it's a piece of driftwood too. So what I want to do in this video is I want to mount this onto this burl, put the ready rod and drill a hole, put the ready rod inside there, right? So it's one big piece, see? But the tricky thing is I also want to make this a light too. So I got this puck light I ordered off Amazon. It's a soft white. Okay, I don't know if these are in my Amazon store or not, but just Amazon search puck lights. Okay, so this is just the white one. There's no color in it. It's got an on-off switch here. So the point is with this light, is because this piece is a negative space and there's holes throughout the carving here. See, it's all rotted and stuff, right? I want the light to come through the face and the holes. So I got a tricky part. Why I knew that when I was carving this piece. That's why I didn't carve any negative space down in here, because I got to hide the light behind here somewhere, so you don't see the light when this is on here. If that makes any sense to you. So I guess the best approach. I don't know where I want to put this on here. I don't know if I want to put it up here. Well, I can't, because then you're going to see the light. So it's got to be down here somewhere. So about where my thumb is, the light's going to be back there, right? So I guess the first thing I want to do is clean this piece up. I don't know what kind of, I had a smaller piece. I think this might even be birch, you know, because birch and maple spalt, you can see some spalting in there. That's that fungus, that black line. I think it's kind of feels softer to be maple, but you just don't know. I get confused with the two. Like, they're both white woods, so who knows, it might be something else too. It could be alder. I don't know if alder spalts, but so I guess what I'm going to do now is clean up the outside of this with this typhoon bit. I'm not going to bother filming, okay? You guys get the idea. This is going to go on my Foredom. You see, it's not a very aggressive bit. I might have to switch to a more aggressive bit if it takes me too long, but I'll just get this cleaned up and then we'll take it from there. I think I might have to carve it. Like, say if I'm going to put, this is hard to explain. Say if I'm going to put this, okay, so I'm going to put this in here so it will sit there, right? I think I'll have to carve some of this back, which means like take all this wood off on this side right here and make it like that, so more depth. I don't know if I'll carve anything in here when this is like this, because you got lots of texture in the burl. Well, it's not a burl, it's a root mass. But I'll just clean it up first, see what I think, how that looks, and then because you don't want to take away from this, right? If I carve some faces or stuff in there, or flowers or whatever, or trees, you don't want to take away from this, because this is the focal point of the piece. Anyways, this is going on way too long, and I got to start cleaning this piece. Alrighty, so I spent about 45 minutes cleaning this up. I had to switch to a more aggressive burr. I got the thingy thing cut in there for the light. I got a hole drilled through so the wire can get around the back. This is 100% birch wood. You can see it's all spalted there. I even cleaned up the back. So definitely make sure you wear your dust mask when you're doing any type of wood carving. You know, and when you're a root ball like this, or any kind of weird twisted piece of wood, you never know what you're getting yourself into, right? So here I had to carve super deep. It was all bark and rotten wood inside here, so that's lots of deep carving. That's how you can break your flex shaft when you're going into something like that. Okay, so I got the light put in there. I got it tilted back. I kind of made this smoother up top so the light can transfer up here. So when the face is on there, you can see through the whole, all the light. So, and I got it kind of square on the edge so it kind of stops there. So it'll just radiate this way. The light's gonna go where it wants to go, right? I can't control that. So this is, like I said, spalted birch. There's cracks in here. You know, at this point, there's cracks here, there's crack. This is kind of going to be hidden. But at this point, you got to think like, okay, so what next? Do I want to sand this super awesome, like up to 600 grit? The higher number, the smoother the sandpaper is. Or do I want to just and make it a nice shiny piece and you see the cracks and the spalting and stuff like that? Or do I want to do a carving fusion free-for-all? Well, I'm making this piece for myself, so obviously it's a carving fusion free-for-all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve like crazy. I'll set up the camera in the overhead and do a super time lapse and just do some wood spirits and my swoosh lines and just freaking carve. Get her done. I think I might, I'm not too sure about this part here, but this I'm not going to carve. I'm going to leave it and I'll clean this all up and burn in here and make it nice and dark, and it's just a carving fusion free-for-all. Get her done. Carry on. Carry on. Okay, so I'm into this piece for about 3 hours now. I was gonna carve a couple wood spirits on here, but I thought, you know what, it just doesn't need it. So I just kind of went into a carving frenzy, had a good time. These are my favorite things to carve here. They're nice and relaxing to carve because it doesn't have to be anything. You know, when you do nice lines and stuff like that, it's just got to look smooth, you know, so there's no pressure when you do stuff like this, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I thought wood spirits might just look a little bit too much and maybe a bit over the top. So anyways, I got a lot of sanding to do on this, a lot of sanding to do. So I got one peterblair sanding mandrel here. I'm still getting emails where to get these sanding mandrels. Look in the description below. We're talking about the metal shaft thing here. Look in the description below. You'll see Peter Blair's name with his email address. You can email him. And yeah, so I got one ready. I'm going to be using my Foredom. This is 1/8. So this is the shaft that goes into your Dremel too. So Foredom's more made for this sanding. More torque, less speed, what you want, because these are definitely not high speed sanding mandrels. So I got 1, 2, and this emery cloth. Thanks to Evil Rick, I got some of this emery cloth, the 3M stuff, in my Amazon store listed below. Okay, because I'm getting lots of emails on that too. So just open up the description. You'll see Peter Blair's email address, and you'll see this Scotch-Brite stuff. 3M, the best stuff. It's not cheap, but trust me, by the time you keep on going through that green stuff that you get from the dollar store or your grocery store, get this brown stuff, it's a lot better. Okay, I'm not going to film sanding, but I'm going to sand. And then I got to figure out how I'm going to get the piece into here. The thing, and thing. Unfortunately for me, terrible news. This piece turned into like, the more that you sand it, the better it's going to look. So I did quite a bit of sanding. Yeah, I got one of the lights off so you guys can see the highlights and stuff like that. So it's sanded to as good enough as I want to sand it. So I think for these deeper spots, I'm going to like in here, just give it a little bit of a burn in here. Not too much, just to kind of give it a darker effect with this MAP gas, propane, MAP tank. Okay, so you can see I got all the burning done in there. You see how it's kind of blotchy burning? Like that's just my cut marks weren't sanded good enough. But so to make it not so blotchy, and I burnt in here too, I'm going to use this Scotch-Brite now to clean this out, and it won't look so like, see, light and dark. It will just kind of, everything will smooth out and be more whatever it is. All right, so that looks much better in there, and it looks much better in here. So now what I'm going to do is this is kind of, I wish I didn't put this ready rod in here yet so I could sample place this on here. You know, so I guess I'm left with no choice but to drill a hole deep in here. I got this super long drill bit. And on my drill a hole down here, and let's hope it fits in there good. I guess, what else can we do? I don't know, you know? Alrighty then, so you guys see my rating? I can't even print. But so I got the piece fitted in. Yes, I tilted it on purpose. I think it looks not too bad. Looks not too bad. You can barely see the ready rod in there. You know, if I wanted to go like extreme, I could throw some crystals back in here, glue them in, and put some peat moss around there, or some moss. I could put some moss around here, but I really don't care. I could put a crystal popping out of there. Don't care enough about it. Okay, so now what I got is this. This is the matte Rust-Oleum matte clear coat. I'm going to have to give this thing about 10 coats before it actually really kicks and takes. But I'll put a couple coats on it to get this video done. And so how I know it's going to work on this, it's not going to make it go too dark. We're going to get two different colors here. It's going to go a lot darker here, where this kind of burl stuff was, right? This is hardwood. This is softer. It's actually all pretty, there's no punkiness in here at all actually now. It's all pretty hard. But I already sprayed it on this sample piece that I had that I cut off the bottom to make it sit flat. So that where I'm tapping, that's where I sprayed it. So it's going to make it go darker. The stuff, the reason I like this stuff for indoor pieces, not for outdoor pieces, this stuff doesn't last very long too outdoors, because it doesn't make it go too dark. Like you spray it, and then once it dries, the color, the original color kind of comes back. It will be dark, but I don't want to use stain. I thought I don't want to use stain on this. I don't want to use like poly shade, because I think these colors in here are going to be nice. And that way, if I just put a clear coat on it, you'll be able to see some of the spalting in here, right? So anyways, I'll take it outside and give it a couple blasts. Then we'll be back. We'll glue this in, we'll put the light in, and we'll try her out. Okay, so it's been about a few hours now. I did spray this with that Rust-Oleum too. I sprayed the back. I ran out of spray. I did get one coat on here. I got to say that the colors are pretty, well, they're pretty dull right now, but once I get a couple more coats on, the colors will really come to life. So you can see all that spalting in there. And I got my Japanese wind line. Bap over there that I can carve. He loves carving this Japanese sort of stuff too. Lots of people gave me the idea it was Spike and Bap and I forget who else, but thanks guys when I did that live carving of this, but to use the little pole thing and put it in here and thing. I was going to carve a soapstone base, but because I got some big chunks of soapstone like this, but that's super messy. So what I got to do now is I got this epoxy. I'm going to put some epoxy in that little hole there, and I'm going to put the ready rod in the hole, and we'll see how solid that makes it. Oh, I got to put the light in first. I'm not going to glue this light in. I'm just going to set it in there, because what happens if the light ever blows, right? If the light ever blows, somebody needs to replace it. It's easy. It will be easy just to pull it out, put a new one in, and carry on. She done. She done. He done. Odin. So I'm not going to tell you about the nightmare that I had with putting that dowel and stuff in there, but let's just say that I used that this stuff, this resin with that light that cures super quick, super handy stuff. This tube stuff here. I had to do some epoxy in here to make it stronger. So we'll just leave it at that. Okay. This piece here, I'm gonna like spend like a week giving it every day a good glossy coat of that Rust-Oleum stuff. I could epoxy. This piece would actually look really nice epoxied. But I think the Rust-Oleum, who knows, maybe I might even epoxy it. It would look super awesome. Like super shiny. But that Rust-Oleum stuff, I'll just give it like, I'll buy 2 cans and over maybe 2 weeks, just keep on giving it a coat a day. And then it will be shiny and it will look like it's kind of like brand new, right? So this lamp I just got on Amazon. I can't stand it because I broke my other one. Used to sit on the table here, but it broke. So this thing's a piece of junk. Let's unscrew that light bulb. Let's unscrew the other light bulb, and then let's turn the light on. Woo! Cha 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 cha. Reminds me of Friday the 13th. So you see here, see that left eye? See how it glows? If I would have, because I cut it on a, let's see, this is all learning process. Everything you do is learning. Art's an experiment. So if I cut it on an angle like that, so if I would have cut this eye on an angle like that too, both eyes would glow like that kind of deal, right? So, but I'm happy with the way it is. That kind of looks like a spooky old tree. So, you know, I'll keep that for another idea, another time, something different, right? It's a lot brighter on camera than it is in real life. Like, it looks like there's tons of light shining out here, but actually it's like 90% less bright in real life than it is in camera. Super fun project. Okay, so let's pretend this is on a coffee table, because that's where somebody would put this, and stand up and see if we can see the light itself down in there. So that's me standing. There's my eye height. So no, perfectly. The plan was executed well. You don't see the light itself. If you go like this, you can see that bright light. Yeah, look at that on camera. But that's, nobody's going to do that. Let's go way back and have a look at it. Yeah, I think it's neat. It's not perfect, but what is? As long as you're having fun, who really gives a poop? So that's it, everybody. I'll share on the post or something like this when this is done. I'll show you guys how shiny and stuff it gets. It's my preference. Some people might like it duller. I don't want this one dull. I want it shiny. I want it to look like a nice brand new shiny thing. So that's it. Carving Fusion. Over and out. I gotta get this light problem that I got here fixed. Drives me nuts.